And the war was just on. And I thought, well, they'll teach me to cook in the army. So I'll join up. So I joined the WAAF. And I was a few months away from my 18th birthday. I joined up and I went, so I can't remember the name of the place in England. I went for my basic training, which took about 6 weeks. You are in a great big Nissen hut with 20 other girls. Got through my basic training. You got up in the morning, had your breakfast, you went parading, learning to salute the various people. There were wing commanders, there were all sorts of people. You learned all about them. And I think I got through that very well, passed out, and then decided what trade I wanted to do, and I said I wanted to be a cook. And they told me they didn't want cooks. No cooks needed. What they wanted was drivers. Well, I had been brought up on a farm, and the only thing I'd ever driven was a horse and trap or a horse and cart or a donkey or something. I know, and I thought, well, my goodness, how am I going to manage that? Anyway, I was posted off with some other girls. Again, we were in another station where there were a lot of girls being taught. There were about another 20 of us, I suppose. And I met he was a lovely fatherly corporal, you know, got on very well. And the first thing I learned to drive was a 3-ton truck. And that went on, well, 3 or 4 weeks. Got on very well, and you learned to drive on trucks and cars and everything like that. And then I was posted to my first station, which was fighter station at Portreath in Cornwall. And just driving everything there, wherever you wanted. You could have a 3-ton truck one day taking stuff from one place to another, or you were driving pilots to an aeroplane. And a couple of times at night you had to take the ambulance out to go and pick somebody that had died. You didn't know whether it was a German or whether all I was the driver. I didn't get involved in anything like that. But you were out all night with the nurse getting people brought back to the morgue. That happened. That went on fine for about 6 or 12 months. And then I got a posting to Cornwall, and I didn't know what I was sent there for. I didn't know why I was sent there. And Cornwall is a small Cornish village. And I thought, well, there's no airport. No airport here, it was just a little village. So I was taken up to the MT section in the middle of a field. There was nothing there, just other than a hut with an adjutant and a few girls. And the MT section had the petrol station and what have you there, and the corporal, and there were 2 men drivers and myself. And it was my job to, I didn't realise that this place was so very important. It didn't look anything to me. I was to drive my commanding officer, who was responsible for 20 or 30 girls. Every morning I picked my commanding officer up, took her up to this gate in the middle of a field. The men who drove the trucks brought the girls up. They got off to this gate in the middle of the field. You've never seen them after that. They were not in the same hotel as we were. They were quite separate, as though they were being secret. They were, of course, in secrecy there. And it was an underground station where the girls were plotting the planes that were going on above. Of course, it was D-Day, and we realised, get up one morning and there was nobody about at all. Everybody had gone. The Americans. The place was absolutely dead. I think it was 3 weeks after that I was posted back to Northern Ireland. So I think most of my wartime duties was in Coverack. And it was a 24/7 job, you know, you were never idle. And then we came back to Northern Ireland and I worked in Belfast. It was mainly driving officers around, especially the clergymen on a Sunday. You had to get up and take them off to wherever they were preaching, anywhere in Northern Ireland. Sometimes on a Friday, the man coming down to Enniskillen, he would say, well, look, don't you bother to come back until Monday because they'll look after me here. So I used to have the car for the weekend and used to go home to see my mother. One day, there was an RAF station quite near my home. It was a very small station. I don't know what they did there, but I had to take this 3-ton lorry with a lot of equipment in it up to Newton Butler. And it was emptied, and I thought, well, while I'm here, I'll call home and see my mother. She'd never had any idea what I'd really been doing, you know. So I drove up to Lammy and turned this big lorry on the back street and stopped out by the back door. And my mother came out looking. And I got out of this and she looked at me and she said, what on earth are you doing in that? I said, I'm driving it. Why? I said, I've been to Newton Butler to drop something off. I thought I'd pop in and see you. Oh, she said, it's getting near dark. You get away back home. I said, I will not indeed. I'm going to have a cup of tea. I'm going to have a cup of tea. I'm all right. I said, I've driven things like this in London many a time. And she couldn't wait to get the tea made and get me away back home.